Well, hello. So last Tuesday?
I don't know what you're talking about, so I don't know
Anyway,
where you're going with this.
a few days ago, I asked you guys to ask some questions about relationships in medicine, considering, um, well, we're married in medicine.
Yeah.
So we figured we could talk about it. But it would be kind of boring, both for us and maybe also for you, if we didn't do anything while we did it. So we have wine, and we have cheese, and we have pomegranates for some reason.
We're not going to eat those. Those are just for decoration.
Okay. And we have crackers. What are we drinking? This is the Santa Margherita Chianti Classico Reserva 2017.
We're not wine connoisseurs.
We're not
but we do like wine.
super good at wine. I don't know if it's going to focus.
I don't really like cocktails or mixed drinks or anything, so I drink a lot of wine. Not like a lot, but like I drink wine for my drink of choice.
I mean, we've been to Italy. Well, we got married in Italy. I've been to Italy like 4 or 5 times. Her just
and
the
then
once.
Would have went again.
Yeah, hashtag COVID.
We've been there twice. No, just once. By another time by now, because we would have went for our last vacation, but we would have went this vacation too.
Yeah, but we like. So I personally like 3 things: bold European red wines, silver tequila, and Scotch that's older than I am. And now that I'm 32, that's becoming more and more rare. I'm old. But Kyrie and I really enjoy deep wines. We don't drink a lot. We understand what alcohol does to our sleep schedules, mine in particular.
But we have a glass of wine every once in a while.
Right. So we like to try different wines. We know what we like, but we need to start branching out. And we thought, what better opportunity than one of these to start branching out a little bit?
Except we stuck with a Chianti.
I mean, we've only had like 1 or 2 Chiantis before.
That's true. But I like Brunellos a lot, and I like Chiantis a lot too.
Mm-hmm. So I saved a handful of them. We haven't actually talked about these yet, so we're going to answer them kind of off the cuff. So here we go.
Should be fun.
Might be fun. You don't know. All right. Question number 1. How has medicine/work affected what you look for in a partner?
Do you want to answer first?
You can go first.
Okay. That is an interesting question. I feel like I wanted to find somebody who I could talk about stuff with.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't know. It's kind of hard when people aren't in medicine and they can't like follow your conversation.
I mean, you kind of look for that.
And you have the same schedule as me, and that made it really easy.
Yeah. But you kind of look for that mental framework. You know, being a physician, you have to be a lifelong learner, and you have to be at baseline very inquisitive, and you have to look at things not at face value and kind of dive deeper into it. And if you're on that track, whether or not you're in medicine, makes for better conversations, I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, makes for more interesting life.
Yeah, I think you're already like on similar pathways.
Right. You can't just be like, hey, I think X, and then the other person say, okay. Yeah. You know, she thinks I'm wrong a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, sweetheart.
True.
But yeah, I mean, to more directly answer the question, it's...
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I guess to more directly answer the question, it's more of the mind than anything else.
In the same time schedule.
Fine, the same time schedule.
It was easier.
All right, fine. Do you recommend dating a peer or superior doc who works with you? Well, that's awkward. We actually met. She was my peer advisor on my second day of medical school.
Not for long, but that is how we met.
What do you mean
I don't know. You didn't use me as a peer advisor for long.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. So she's always been a year ahead of me in medicine, even though I'm older.
Yeah.
And wiser.
My brain is older.
No. I'm like 2 years older than she is, but she was a year ahead of me because she took...
I'm advanced. My brain's so big.
I took 4 years off total. She took 3, or she took 1. So there was a 3-year dissociation, and I was 2 years ahead of her in school. So.
Well, Mike was born in 1988, and I was born in 1990.
When were you born?
1990.
Yikes! All right, that's enough for you. You've had enough. So it just whatever works. We worked together, I think, twice or maybe once when she was actually, my superior. Once when I was an intern and she was a senior resident.
No.
Overnights.
Oh, but we worked together when you were a medical student, like on cardiology, and then I was an intern.
Right.
But we didn't tell anybody on that one. Some people knew. We didn't tell anybody, and I wouldn't let Mike talk to me at all. But they didn't when I was a resident, he was an intern. They didn't schedule us together because they didn't want that conflict of interest. But we just happened on our anniversary night to be called into the same. I don't know if you were called in or you were scheduled.
I was called in. So on our first wedding anniversary, we worked overnight in the cardiac ICU together. She was my senior resident. I was the intern. Yeah. It went fine,
Yeah, but other than that, they never scheduled us together because they didn't want that conflict of interest until we were both seniors.
Right.
And then we were scheduled. Then we asked to be scheduled together because we wanted our schedules to be the same. So on COVID, on one of the COVID step downs, we were together.
That's true. Which
was actually really nice. I highly recommend dating somebody, I don't know, younger than you. I don't know. It's not younger than you. Recommend somebody that could date. I like when we work together. I felt like when we were on the COVID step down together, we complemented each other really well because I my strengths, I know your strengths.
That's fair.
If I needed help with an admission, you would do that admission for me.
Yeah, so that's actually true. So this was at the end of my her third year of residency. I had spent 2 months in a row treating COVID patients. I think this was in the beginning of May. 2020.
Yeah, because it was our wedding anniversary, so mid-May.
Yeah, start mid-May, whatever. I had worked in the ICUs for about 2 months, and that's right when COVID first really started hitting Chicago. So I knew that she had an extra year of residency under her belt. She had an extra year of medical knowledge under her belt. She had an extra year of training under her belt. But she really hadn't been working with COVID patients. So I had that knowledge, and she had the other knowledge. So we understood that, and it's not like a competition. I know she's a year ahead of me. I don't care.
But it was a different adjustment for me to learn COVID then because I hadn't seen any COVID and you had.
Right.
So it was different.
Yeah.
Next.
Wine pause.
Okay.
Necessary. All right. How do you support your significant other when you're already struggling with time management and school? I imagine you are asking from the standpoint of you being in school and you struggling with time management and then trying to additionally balance your significant other. That's tough. When I started medical school, the things that mattered less to me kind of fell by the wayside. The staying up and just, watching Netflix and rotting my mind for God knows how many hours I used to do that for. That just kind of fell apart. And then when we started dating, luckily enough for us, we were both medical students at the time. So our dates were, hey, let's study together.
Yeah.
So it was not doing something together, but being together doing something, I suppose.
Yeah. But I think I take that question as if you're struggling, how does the other person have time to help you manage that, Does that make sense?
Not even a little bit.
Really? Like when I was having a hard time, if I struggled in a class and I was having trouble, you're already so busy, but how do you comfort somebody in that kind of time? How do you be a significant other?
Oh. Well, I guess you can. That's tough.
I think if one of us struggled, it was I don't know, it was hard. The other one struggled too, no matter what. I think if one person's struggling, the other one's struggling too, because you just hate seeing your significant other go through that. But then you make time manage, you help that person out by maybe taking a few things off their plate. I'll tend to clean more or cook.
Yeah, if somebody's really, up to their ears and doing stuff, then the responsibility more or less falls on the other person to, pick up whatever slack has to be picked up. If somebody's been eating, mac and cheese out of a bag for the last 6 days, well, maybe make an effort to make something that's not mac and cheese. Or just being able to send a text every once in a while, with words of affirmation that make them feel better about themselves. Or, I don't know, just anything simple or anything quick. Those things always add up to be more beneficial than you think they're going to be, and they're always worth it. So that's one way to do it. Anything else?
No. Just leave them behind.
Yeah. Advice for when on opposite sleep schedules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our life this year.
Yeah. So, my last year of residency, I have two-week stints of nights, and for the rest of it, I'm working days. Sometimes I'll get called in for your odd night here and there, but very, very rarely. Kyrie is a nocturnist. So she works pretty much exclusively nights when it is she works. Yeah, it gets tough. Frankly, the bed gets lonely. And
you have Bruin, though.
I have Bruin, yes.
He's about the same size as me.
He's got like 20 pounds on you.
No, he's got like 10 pounds on. Oh, maybe he has 20 pounds on me. Oh, wow. Yeah, he has 20 pounds on me. That's crazy.
So, the home is quieter, and, you're used to your evening routine being just so, and, you kind of depend on the other person back and forth. And I know I really struggle with it because if she's not home, time just kind of goes out the window. I have no idea what's going on, and all of a sudden it's later, and I should have been in bed 2 hours ago, and oops. It's difficult to kind of manage that. But we also make sure that all the things get done when somebody's not sleeping. So, for example, I won't, run the dishes or run the washing machine while she's sleeping because it's going to wake her up. And her sleep is more important than clean dishes.
Yeah. And Mike will go to the gym while I'm sleeping or after I leave for work that night.
Yeah, and I usually take the dog out to the park and kind of run him to smithereens before I go and pick her up, if that's actually the case. So he's tired, until she wakes up, which is usually not that big of a problem.
He sleeps till 2 anyway.
Yeah, he kind of sleeps late
anyway.
But
so then when I wake up, we spend our time together.
Right. We get if she works a 7 p.m. shift, and if I have the day off or I'm on a normal day, I might be home at 4:30, 5 o'clock, so we get an hour and a half to spend together, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's better than not seeing each other.
Plus, I only work 10 shifts a month, so
10 to 12.
Yeah, 10 to 12 shifts a month.
Yeah, so on the other,
so we get a lot of time together.
18 to 20 days, she doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it was actually harder when we worked at the same hospital to spend time together because we were usually not on the same schedule.
Yeah, when we were both residents at the same hospital, it was one person was on X rotation, the other was on Y rotation, and it gets difficult because no two schedules are alike. So maybe she gets home super early at 3 or something, and I'm there until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. She's been asleep for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So then I just go to sleep. Not a lot of quality time there. All right, next one. Single woman in med school here. I feel like I will never have time to date. How true is that?
I don't know. It's a little true.
It's not entirely true, though.
It's not entirely true, but it's a little true. I mean, you definitely have less. You're working 70-hour weeks on average if you're internal medicine. If you're surgery, you're working a lot more than that. And so, there's not a lot of extra time there, but you do with it what you can. People date during medical school. I know that. It's certainly possible to date. Especially with the invention of online dating. I think that has made it pretty efficient. I don't know. We were in a part of it. Mike and I dated before. I don't know if it was before Tinder time or online dating time, but we kind of missed out on that.
I don't know when Tinder started. I never had an account.
It was definitely before I was in college.
Oh, really?
Or when I was in college, it started. Yeah.
Oh.
Or the year I worked at the bar. I think that's when it was huge.
No. I don't know.
But we kind of escaped. We kind of escaped online dating, so we don't really know what it's like. My friends talk about it, though. They do find people.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends in medicine and in residency, and when they were in med school, they would do the online dating thing, and some had more success than others.
I think the biggest complaint is that it's hard to find somebody that's like online and that can like understand our time schedule in medicine, especially in residency, because even when not like relationship based, but even when I was like studying for my boards recently, I had to drop everything. I barely talked to my family. You go into these like holes every once in a while. You can't talk to anybody. You don't have any time.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people that aren't, in this world to understand that.
Yeah.
Not that like, woe is me. I shouldn't say that. But it's just, I mean, you use up all your mental capacity that it's hard to like.
Yeah. I mean, when she was, in the throes of board studying, it was like, she was a little bit more or less a shell, frankly. And, just because I know how much information there is, and I know how much time you have to spend focusing on absorbing as much of that information as possible, and how could you possibly have anything left afterwards? I mean, you can still date, you can still find time to date. During those particular times, not so much. Your time is devoted to board studying or whatever study you might happen to be going through. But there are plenty of times in between where it's a thing. And if you happen to find a partner that is either going through or has gone through or will go through the same things, great. The next best thing is a partner who can empathize really well.
Yep.
How much would you recommend med school for a girl that wants kids/marriage early?
Are you looking at me because I'm answering that?
I mean, you are a girl.
It's true. I mean, I would recommend it. I think, well, I mean, you can answer that question too. We both went through med school. I don't remember if any girls had kids during medical school, but definitely people had kids in medical school, and girls had already like children in medical school. I don't remember any of the girls in my class getting pregnant during medical school. Residency, girls got pregnant during residency, and actually they were okay with it. I think they just had to, like, it was particularly hard because they had to leave their kids and come to, or when they're pregnant, they're working these long shifts, and they would have to like leave their kids and come into residency a lot. And again, you work a lot of hours, and so you're in the hospital a lot. And I think that can be a little like mentally taxing. Like I remember one of our fellows was telling us one night that, she had a 1-year-old at home and she had to come in at like 3 a.m. and she just cried the whole time coming in because she had to leave him. And, I don't have kids, so I don't know how to like empathize with that. Well, I guess I have Bruin, and it was really hard to leave him, so I can't imagine that it would be any easier than that. It's probably 1,000 times worse to leave your own child than your dog. But,
oh God.
I mean, you just have to know that that's going to be a feeling that you go across, and if you're okay, I mean, it's possible. It's just, it's hard.
I mean,
it's hard now. I mean, we're not even having kids yet because we're not like at the place where we can.
If it's important to you and you want to have kids and you want to go to med school and you have to have 2 kids by a certain age, it's always possible. There's always somebody who's done it. One of my med school buddies, he and his wife actually adopted 2 kids during our 3rd year medical school.
That was cool.
And they were super, super young, maybe like 2 or 3 months old when he got them, I think. And he did great. He matched into a competitive psychiatry program, and he and his wife are super happy, and his kids are adorable as shit. So I mean, it's certainly possible. I forget what his wife does.
It's definitely not the norm, but it's doable.
Yeah, if it's something that means that much to you, then you still do it. For us, that's not something that means that much to us right this second, so we're not going to do it. What means more to us right this second is, saving money, having fun with the dogs, and
just learning to like become ourselves without medical school or residency. Mike's still in residency, so it's harder with that. But I'm able to like have a life outside of medicine now, and I kind of like it.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to give it up yet.
She watches way too much TV.
Yeah, I do. But
you can easily fit childcare in with the amount of TV she watches.
But it's also COVID time, so I can't go do anything else.
That's true. Yeah.
Otherwise, it would.
Yeah, we didn't have a COVID baby.
No.
How do you ever meet anyone to date? Well, we kind of already touched on that one.
I guess like how do you meet somebody to date in medicine? You just meet them at school.
Yeah, I mean the other thing,
or residency.
The other thing that goes along with this is you don't just have to date other doctors or other nurses or other anything. You know, we're a giant team. Like some of my best friends at the hospitals are the nursing staff, or members of the nursing staff, I should say. So, like, you just make friends and be nice, and you'll be amazed at one, how easy your job becomes, and two, like how nice people are that are, you know, that don't have the same 2 letters at the end of their names. It's really easy. The hospital's full of people. Do you find
grocery stores?
In grocery stores?
Yeah, those are full of people too that you can meet. Whole Foods.
Oh my god.
Or the gym.
Okay.
It's true.
Do you find that people you date who aren't in the medical field fully understand / respect your job?
Fully understand.
Well, when I was in the medical field, I never dated anyone who wasn't in the medical field. That being said, we do have plenty of friends who, in medicine, dated people who were not in medicine. Like Melissa and Mike, for example.
Yeah. Shout out to Melissa and Mike.
And
Mike did fine. Like, Mike...
Yeah, Mike went to law school, so he knows what studying is like. And
I'm sure it's hard at first coming in because, you know, when you get a bunch of medical people in a group, they just spit out these medical terms. And it's like, I mean, it had to be like the feeling of like when you're first shadowing, you know, when you're like a high schooler, you're shadowing a doctor and you're like, what are they saying?
Yeah, it's like a new language.
Cryptic. But I think you get used to it. And I think Melissa always did like a really good job of explaining things to Mike. So
yeah, and Mike's like really,
used to it.
Mike was really empathetic, and he understood, and they always seemed very transparent in their relationships and how they would go about doing things. But I don't think Mike ever disrespected the work Melissa does.
No, if anything, he was like very proud of her.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's our like one friend example that I can think of right now, but I'm sure there are plenty more. I think more than anything, no one doesn't respect what we do.
Yeah, we've never seen a problem with that.
Yeah.
And if there has been, I'm sure the relationship didn't last long. Oh, yeah. Drew and Taylor, for example.
Drew and Taylor, that's another example.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We have like 2 friends.
One of my buddies is an emergency resident. His girlfriend does something else. I don't know what it is. Business something. They've never had a problem with it. I think...
If anything, it probably helps because, like, Mike and I will get stuck and we'll just talk medicine sometimes, and it gets, like, really... I'm sure they have way more to talk about than we do.
Yeah, probably. I mean, sometimes it's nice to kind of bounce off, a diagnosis that you may or may not have missed, or,
Or just, like, understand the feelings you're going through.
Yeah, exactly. And
if you had a rough day, the other person's like, yeah, I've been there before. So
right. At the same time... On the other side of the coin, it's like, all right, I've been at work doing medicine for the last 13 hours. The last thing I want to go home and do is talk about medicine for the next 2 or 3 hours before I pass out and go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
We did that, but then we got a dog, and all we do is talk about him.
We always she...
And then we got another dog because we needed something else to talk about.
Oh, Jesus. All right, moving on. Your wife seems like a total badass. What's it like planning a future family if you want one?
Well, that's all true. Planning a future family is hard. It's hard, like, we just don't know when we're gonna... future family and dogs, I know what I'm gonna do.
We're gonna get, like, 6 wolfhounds.
And, like, a lot of rescue dogs. I just want a lot of land to have a lot of my dogs, and that's as far as I can see in the future right now.
Well, but chickens and probably,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. But I think, I don't know if this is a generalized question. How do you plan for a family in medicine?
I don't know. As far as we're concerned now,
do what you want when you want. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm coming up on the end of residency, and we're both looking for jobs. We don't know where it is we're gonna go, but we are pretty sure we're gonna not be in Chicago.
You've been here for about 8 years.
Yeah.
I've been here for 8 years. You've been here for 7.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, we got to figure out where we're going. And, next year I might apply for a cardiology fellowship too. And hopefully I, get in someplace close to where our future house is. But, you never know. So it's difficult planning for it now. I think we both understand that it's on the, it's a little bit closer than we might think it is. But at the same time, it's not today. So for now, we're going to work and learn and save money and enjoy each other's company as just a married couple without any kids in tow.
Yes, I'm not ready to give up my life yet. My TV watching. That's very important to me.
Does your partner ever get upset at your long hours and being so dedicated? Trust issues? ?
Do I get upset at your long hours? Yes, I would like you to come home.
It was a lot easier when we were both residents because we'd both be at work for 70, 80 hours a week. But now
it was easier. I didn't get as bored by myself.
Right, we were both otherwise occupied.
I don't think I'd ever take it back, but I don't ever want to be in that position again.
Yeah, we were both otherwise occupied, so we had our minds elsewhere. Now I still have those hours and she doesn't. So she's at home all day, just texting the snot out of me when I'm trying to see all these consults or go to the hospital all day. And I can tell she's bored and I don't want to be rude, but I need her to stop sometimes because I got stuff to do. It was easier when we were in the same hospital, I think, because we would see each other, every now and again. We just walk by each other.
Yeah.
But now we're at different hospitals and we work just completely different hours. I don't think there are any trust issues.
Trust issues because you're gone all the time. Someone's gone all the time.
Yeah, she knows exactly what I'm going through. When she's at work, part of our night rotations are essentially what she does for a living now. So I know what she's doing. I don't have really a problem with it. I don't mistrust her for anything.
Because I'm at the hospital? I don't think you can mistrust me when I'm at Hollywood. What am I doing at the hospital?
I don't know.
I think it'd be more of me who's at the hospital and you're home alone.
Maybe. I don't know.
But I know Mike too well. He just goes to bed. Well, he just sits up and probably is on his phone for 2 hours.
Yeah, probably
watching TikTok.
Yeah, probably.
And then
he'll
go to sleep.
Or I'm editing these videos more lately, I suppose.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think trust comes with time. I don't think we always trusted each other as much as we do now, but I think every single day it builds a little bit more.
We've been together for, well over 6 years now. So it's I don't know. There's no new.
Not that challenging times are, I don't know what's happening in the future, but I can say now that I have no issues with trust.
Yeah,
every other day someone is trying to email me or what is it on Instagram, DM you, and that's so pathetic of me. I don't know what DM is called. And tell me that Mike has some dating account on Hinge or something.
Oh yeah, I have all of the well, we'll get to that in a minute.
But yeah, it's funny actually. Please take him.
Yeah. Any relationship we go through are our good times and our bad times. Sometimes it's, when we're both just exhausted, our marriage kind of feels like we're roommates. And sometimes when we have more energy, we're back to being newlyweds again. And, those times are better. But, we both understand that those times kind of come and go. And just because we understand that there are going to be duller times doesn't mean we're thrilled about it, but
we do never go to bed mad.
That's
never
true.
Ever have gone to bed mad.
She won't let me sleep in a different room if I'm mad.
Yeah.
She will annoy the crap out of me until I go to even if all I want to do is go to sleep, she'll just annoy the crap out of me. Anyway.
That's the cheese, by the way. Did you try it?
I haven't tried it yet. You can start answering this one while I eat the cheese.
Okay.
I am not going to pursue medicine as I want to be a father one day. I'm going to be an NP instead.
Yeah. I I feel like NPs probably work just as hard as us, though. So I don't know if that's the best route. I think, their path is a little bit different than us, but they still, I feel like I see NPs working very hard in the hospital. So I don't know if that's the best reason not to be a doctor. I think they're just two different jobs. They're not that one's like more time than the other. I mean, I honestly don't know the full medical education of NPs, but I do know they work hard, and a lot of them have been with us, trained with us, as doctors. We take some of them around and have them train with us, and so I don't know if that's the best reason not to go to medical school. I think you just have to research the jobs a little bit more. Regardless, you can be a father during both of them.
Right. I mean, it's not like once you have an MD or a DO at the end of your name as a male, that doesn't mean you can't be a dad.
And I think that, most of the attendings I know are dads, and most of the male attendings I know, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of attendings are parents.
Yeah.
A lot of attendings are parents, and a lot of residents are parents, and a lot of medical students are parents as well. If it's something that you're passionate about, again, it should not stop you from doing that. Medicine is just something that you will learn to do around the things you like.
Right. I mean, medical school and nursing school and nurse practitioner school, they're different educations. And with different educations comes a different skill set. And you have to decide which one that you might be better at or that interests you the most. I could never do nursing for a number of reasons, one of which being I don't love being at the bedside 24/7. And so that was part of my reasoning to go into medical school. There's also throwing in PA school in there. Again, that's a different form of education. It's a different, there's different responsibilities when you get out.
But it doesn't mean they're working less.
Right. They're just...
One of the PAs I work with right now stays way longer than any physician does. She'll be there at, 6:30 a.m. and she works in the oncology, and she'll be there until 8 p.m. when I just get there for work, And
right. I mean, the point of this story is each different aspect of medicine, each player on this particular team has different responsibilities. And it doesn't mean that one is better for, having a family than another. It just means they're different. You can find NPs who work way more than she does.
Yeah. Ask those cardiothoracic PAs and NPs.
Yeah.
They work way more than me.
Yeah. If you're ever at Rush, ask for Doshane. He's there. So yeah, if it's NP over MD because only of having kids, I find that a little bit short-sighted, but you do you. Doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's the job you want. You have to think more about the actual job than the having a kid and having a job.
Right. I married a physical therapist and I'm occupational therapy, but our first marriage is to USC. LOL. I imagine that's
University of
Southern California.
Southern California.
Yeah.
PT and OT together.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm married to Kyrie first, and then the hospital second.
But I wonder if they ever are on the same patient together. We are.
Oh, maybe
that would be interesting.
Yeah. We once saw the same patient on two different consult services, and our notes were right on top of each other. So just two, Kyrie Herring, Michael Herring.
Yeah.
One on top of each other. It looked weird. I don't know. I feel like, we married each other, and medicine takes a back seat. For me, nothing is more important than my family. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's an old school version of medicine where you're a doctor first and then you're a family second. And I think that's changing. I love my job. I like what I do a lot, but I'll always be, a wife first, and my family's more important than anything.
Right. And eventually, a mother and father.
Yeah, eventually.
All right. Last question. I promised I'd get to this earlier in the video. Did you know someone tried to be you on a dating site?
Like I said, take him.
Yeah, she says take him. This is something that I've been going through for the past God knows how many years since I made a public Instagram account. I'm more than well aware with it. It's been fun.
It's funny, kind of.
I have people DMing me all the time on Instagram asking for me to unblock them on whatever app they're using, or telling me that, hey, this is your girlfriend. I'm like, I've been married for almost 3 years. Like, could you please? It's not me. It will never be me. It has never been me. I don't
know if it's their fault completely. I mean, someone that's pretending to be you is convincing them that it's you, and so I don't know. And people do that. I mean, people do that all the time. They like have relationships behind their wife's backs or husband's back. So it's not uncommon. I get that, but
I mean, you also have to be a little bit more careful about.
I would just make sure, like you ask, like FaceTime them, see what happens, and
and make sure it's not like something that was already on YouTube or on Instagram or on TikTok or something like that, and make sure the voice matches the face. I've seen so many examples of like videos that people have sent, other people about, with my face on it and somebody's speaking over it, and the voice does not match the face, and the words do not match what my mouth is doing. So it's never been me. It will never be me. It's not me. I feel bad for the people that like get taken advantage of. I made a YouTube video about this like a year and change ago.
Oh, my split pea soup is done.
Yeah, so she just wants people to take me. Because she's bored of me. But I made a YouTube video about this like well over a year ago. I tried to, post each and every fake account, at least on Instagram, that I could. And, it's like 50 DMs a day. It's Instagram, Facebook. Apparently WhatsApp is now a social media platform. I didn't know. I thought it was just a messaging.
I didn't know that either.
Whatever. Google Hangouts is a big one. And then every dating site, known and unknown to man. I've heard of kind of the big ones, like Tinder. I've heard of Hinge.
The League
I was on, apparently.
I don't know, lots of them. It doesn't
Lots
matter.
of them. And then a bunch of them that I had never heard of. What's even more peculiar is when I match with some of my friends in Chicago. That's awkward. So yeah, it's not me. It will never be me.
Yeah, that's true. Remember when that's why I didn't want to, one of the reasons why I didn't want to be on the internet. That creepy person that screenshotted one of our friends' stories of me and made it their profile picture, and then was telling people I was dead or something. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, died.
Yeah, there's been so many of these weird stories. Like she's been dead a few times. She's like, oh yeah, I'm widowed 3 years ago, and apparently I have a 12-year-old son or a daughter, depending on which day it is. And I've seen some of these Instagram profiles, and they're absolutely hilarious. You can tell that whoever is creating them does not speak English, because the grammar is just terrible. People make up stories about her. They make up stories about me. I don't put anything out there that's at all sensitive. Sensitive information. There's nothing about the rest of my family. There's nothing about where I grew up. There's nothing about I post that I work in Chicago because that's free information on the internet. You just have to Google me and my residency will pop up. Great. But there's nothing that would possibly damage me that's on the internet. So whatever. It's not stealing my identity. It's just stealing my pictures and tricking some people.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
This wine was delicious. So was the cheese, but now I am going to drink some more wine and finish the cheese. I probably won't finish the cheese. But if there's any other Q&As you would like to see from us, we're going to try to do this at least once or twice a month, because hopefully it can give you some value. So if you enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what else you want to see, and we will get back to you in the next video.